Hello friends, it's Christine from Christine's Stamping Spot. It's another Mystery Monday video today. We did have some snow this weekend, but luckily our temperatures, cross our fingers, are starting to warm up a little bit this week. So good news on the weather front. So today we are going to take a look at this Enduring Beauty stamp set. This is the stamp with some greetings, and you can also purchase it as a bundle with the dies. So there's this large die which will cut out this floral image, and then you have some extra greenery that you can cut extra leaves, and then you've got one for your greetings here to cut out a tag. So if you're looking for this bundle, you can find it in the mini. It's on page 38. Mix and mask. So we're going to play with these masks today. They're decorative masks, and they are really, really fun to use. I have not honestly used masks a lot, but this one is really quite beautiful, the result, and so lots of possibilities with them as well. So you can purchase it, just the stamp set. You can purchase it as a bundle, just the dies, and the masks are an extra item. But of course, any of this will go towards celebration. So you can always, with the purchase of the bundle, you could get a celebration item for free. And on this page, there are some other great ideas that you can do with the masks and with our blending brushes, which we're also going to use today. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to show you our project. Is this one, and came together fairly quickly once our coloring was done, and even that did not take very long. So the first step, I'm gonna get just a piece of paper which I have stamped our floral image. So just a scrap piece of paper, basic white, because you are going to cut this out with the die at the end of it, of the coloring. So stamp this in black memento. It is a rather large stamp, so you're going to need one of our larger blocks, but the black memento just makes it pop on its own. So the masks, this is what they look like. You get 5 in the package, and they are all numbered. I don't know if you can see that number 1 just up in the corner. So there's number 1, number 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can choose, which ones you want to use for your project. You could use all of them. You could just use a couple of them. There's different possibilities. So I'll show you some of that as well. Okay, so we're going to take out our stamped image, and we're going to start with mask number 1. So after you've stamped, you're going to just line up the images that you're going to ink up first. So with this mask, it pops up the flowers, okay? So that's what's going to be colored first. So you're just going to line it up around those outlines. And what I like to do is I just took a bit of masking tape, but if you have two-sided tape or other tape, just to hold that in place so it's not going to shift while you are inking. So I'm going to copy what we did here on our samples. So the color I used for the flowers is our Fresh Freesia, which is now part of our color palette, which is awesome. And then I'm going to use one of our blending brushes. We do have the smaller ones or the regular size ones. It's totally up to you. You just rinse them off with water when you're done. They will be stained, but that doesn't affect the quality of the brush, or the ink won't transfer if you've at least, rinsed off as much ink as you can under the water and just let them sit out to dry. Okay, so you're just going to ink up your brush. And then we're going to start sort of off and just go into the mask. Okay, so you're just going to apply the color as light or as dark as you like. And of course, this may depend on how inked up your stamp pad is. And you may choose to, leave some of the images a little bit lighter. It's all personal preference. There's no right or wrong. just ink up, you know, however bright you would like your florals to be. And of course, these could be done in any color, right? Okay, so we're going to take off mask number 1. So I'm just going to peel off that tape. And when it comes to cleaning these, all you do is rinse them under water. So see how I have some ink around there? You're just going to rinse it under water. It will completely come off, and then just dry your masks and they're ready to go for another project. Okay, so we'll set number 1 aside, and then we're going to go to number 2. And number 2, if you can tell, is going to be a lot of our leaf images here. Okay, so you're just going to, again, line it up to expose those leaves in the mask. Okay, as best you can. And then again, I'm going to tack it down with my tape, just so it doesn't shift. And then you can choose what color you want the base of your leaves to be. I'm going to try Lemon Lime Twist. Now this stamp pad might be a little bit on the dry side, and I was searching and searching and I could not find a re-inker. So we will try this and see how it goes. And again, it doesn't have to be super, super dark either, right? Okay, so starting off, I'm just gonna go on. And whether you swirl, you know, you can do it in both directions. There's no right or wrong, whatever works for you. Okay, so we're gonna put this on. Try to cover up those leaves, and this looks like a bud here almost. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so let's close up this ink so I don't get it all over myself. We'll take off this tape and we'll see what we've got. It's always so exciting to see what's underneath. See how those leaves just pop? Awesome, I love it. Okay, so we're gonna go to mask number 3. Now, if you don't want to use mask number 3, you could just leave your image like that. Cut it out with a die and you're good to go. It's beautiful just as it is. Image number 3 is going to add a little bit of darker color to your floral images. Okay, so you're just going to line this up, try to cover those leaves. And this is sort of the trickier part, but they're pretty easy to line up. Okay, and even if they're a teeny weeny bit off, that's okay. You just want to make sure that you're going to have just your florals there. Now this one, I need it more rotated. So just rotate your masks a little bit and you will get there, I promise. The first time it was, and sometimes it depends how you stamp your image, right? If your image is, one way, you might have to, like I'm doing, kind of adjust your mask at a bit of an angle as opposed to just putting it straight on top, right? Okay, so that looks good. See how certain portions of the flowers are exposed? Okay, so let's tape this down again. Now, this is where you have a choice. You can choose to use the same color of ink. So for example, fresh freesia, which is what we used, which is what I'm going to do. Or you could choose a slightly darker shade of the purple. So you may want to go with a Highland Heather, or maybe you want to go as deep as a Gorgeous Grape. You can decide if you want your contrast to be just very subtle or if you want it to really stand out. So I'm just going to stick with the fresh freesia, and we'll see how that looks. And again, you can apply as little or as much as you like. Okay, so I'll just go over this. Okay, I think that's good. So let's see what we have when we uncover this. Okay, I'll peel off the tape, and there we go. Do you see those slight? Well, see, I did a little bit darker than I did on my sample. My sample was very subtle. This one, they pop a little bit more. Okay, and then we're going to do the same with the leaves. So we have mask number 4, and this is going to add some pop to the veins of our leaves here. So you're just going to line up the leaf images in your mask. Okay, it's just going to expose more or less the veins of them, I would say, as close as you can. If it's not 100%, that's fine. Okay, so we're just gonna give it a little twist there and stick this down. Oh, my tape is starting to stick together here. Okay, so in this instance, I could also still go with the lemon lime twist, but I'm gonna try going a teeny bit darker with the granny apple green. Okay, so I'm not going to maybe go, oops, as dark as I did with the fresh freesia. We'll just go over and maybe just have some slight contrast here. Maybe it'll be more than I think it will be. Okay, so let's just close this up. All right. And there you go, very subtle. Don't know if you can see a little bit of contrast. Not as much as I thought I might have on there, but that's okay. You can always reapply your mask if you wanted to make it a bit darker, but I'm fine with that. Okay, I think I applied that right, because some of my greens are still, let me see. I think some of my green stems are still not quite inked. I must have missed those. So let me just go over that really quick. I'm just going to tack this one side down. Do you see how I have these little white stems in there? It's just the OCD in me, I think. A little bit. I just want these to be colored in as well. Oops, I hope I didn't shift that too much. And I mean, you could just take a marker, right? Or a blend and just color that in. But there you go. It's a little bit better covered there. Those white stems were sort of sticking out. Okay, so now we do have one more mask, but I'm not going to use this one. This is more for the flower centers, okay? So like the centers there, but I'm pretty happy with how they are just with the black popping through there. So I'm not going to touch that. So now I'm going to cut this out with the die. So we have this die as part of the dies, which is going to cut this image out. So I will be back in 2 shakes. And then we can put our project together. Just going to line up your die around that image. I apologize for any shaking of the camera. I try to be gentle. So there you go. Our image is cut out with this die. All right. So now we have our focal point and we can start assembling our project. Okay. So for that, I chose some basic white as my base. So we're just going to fold that in half. And these masks are really fun. Like once you get started, you just want to start experimenting with other colors. And I have a couple of other samples I'm going to show you at the end. Okay, this blue, if you're wondering where this is from the Flight and Airy designer paper. That's a free, a product you can redeem for free on Celebration. It's the one with birds, which is super, super cute. I just love these birds. But I thought I would just go for this blue and stick that down here. So we will put this on top of our white. And then I cut out another piece of white using our perennial postage dies. Now, if you haven't seen these are in the mini and they look like this. So they are awesome. You get some really large ones that you can use as backgrounds, and then you've got these smaller ones that you can cut out smaller images or greetings or whatever you'd like to do. So these are really fun. So I just cut that out also with basic white. And we're going to put that on top of our blue. Okay, so right here. And then we can attach our floral. Now you can decide, you know, how you want it, what you want to face up, what you want to face down, which side you would like it to go on. Now I am going to stamp, I think, a greeting just at the bottom here, and then I can raise that up. So in the stamp set, there are some nice, you know, greetings, a lot kind of sort of love-themed, sympathy, holding you close if you're ill, trying to, you know, embrace the beauty of you, which is the one I'm going to use. And I'm going to stamp that in Fresh Freesia, I think. I probably should have stamped this before I put it on in case it goes crooked, but we will do our best to just make sure it's not upside down. Oh my gosh, I almost did that. Has that ever happened to you? Oh my gosh. Okay, embrace the beauty of you. Sometimes we just need to be reminded, or someone needs to be reminded, that they are very special as well. Okay, so I can put it on this way, or I might just put it this way. It kind of covers that a little bit better. And I am going to pop this up with some dimensionals, of course. I want this flower to pop up. Okay, oh, of course I'm going crazy with my dimensionals, but that's okay. You don't have to use as many as I am. Oh my gosh. I should have shares in dimensional companies. I don't know. Okay. Let's just get rid of these packers here. Oh, my garbage bin needs an empty, doesn't it? Ooh, okay. All right, so we are going to put this on. Now, do I want it that way or do I want it? Maybe I'll do it this way. I'll just put it at a bit of an angle, like so. Ha, I love it. And then just for a bit of bling, I'm going to add some of our butterflies. So we have the large ones and the little smaller ones in the package. So you can decide. They are self-adhesive, which is always awesome. So we'll put those there, and maybe a little one up here, and another little one maybe here. All right, and there is our Enduring Beauty card. What do you think of the masking technique? I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. Please post in the comments below. I will post the measurements on the post as well as on my YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe to Christine Stamping Spot on YouTube, and you can see all of the previous videos as well. So I was going to show you a couple of other ideas really quickly that I saw. So this was inspired by oh my gosh, Mary Dethridge, I think she was, is a demo in the US, but I did switch it up a bit. So this is where I just embossed the image with white embossing powder. No coloring. I put it on Pretty Peacock cardstock. Um, I embossed in the exposed brick embossing folder, and then I just embossed it in white and put a little greeting. This is from the Softly Sophisticated, which is one of our celebration offerings this year. So it's got some nice little greetings in there. So, and then cut it out with the which dies? I think they're the Nested Essentials. If you haven't got these are amazing. 3 different shapes, and they all nest inside each other. So I just used the smallest one here, but you've got some other great ones to choose from. And then just added a little bit of baker's twine to finish it off. And I didn't put any extra bling on here. I thought, you know, if you're in my thoughts, it could be a sympathy. It could be for someone that's not feeling well, someone that's having a tough time. So I didn't want to add a ton of extra bling. I thought the embossing powder does have a sheen to it, and it's just a very simple kind of card relaying your message. And then the other one I had was this one. This was inspired by Joan Barbrett, who is also in the US. Did switch this up a teeny bit too. So what she did was she did all of her masking on the image. This is this big image here, but then she just cut it apart, which is kind of hard to do, but I kind of really like how this turned out. So I put a portion of it, I popped it up on dimensionals here, and then another portion of it here. And then there were some extra leaves from pieces that I trimmed off, and I just put it underneath my greeting, and I used those nested dies again, and the same textured brick. And I did add a little bit of bling with some of the new gems. And this, if you're wondering, the ink color was Melon Mambo. So I just used the same ink. I didn't darken it at all. And this is Mossy Meadow, and I did not darken this either. Now, like I said, you don't have to do all of the layers. And even if you don't have the masks, you can still color in these beautiful flowers just with Stampin' Blends or markers. So don't feel like you have to get the masks. It's just another fun tool to, add a little bit more dimension without having to guess, oh, where do I put the shading? Where do I do this? The masks kind of do all that work for you, which is a bonus. So anyways, these are the projects using the Enduring Beauty stamp set today. So I hope you enjoyed that video, and we will see you again next week. Bye for now, everyone.